Hello, welcome to my latest video. Now, excuse me if I keep having to pause for thought, because my thinking patterns are all messed up, because I'm very fed up today, a bit hacked off. Um, Back in 2015, I was diagnosed with severe depression and anxiety and borderline personality disorder and essential tremor and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, it's just one of me off days which happens. So yeah, if I pause a lot and have to think, just bear with me. Um, I'm gonna be painting quite small today. It's only about 12 by 8 inches, and there's my long brushes. And I thought, even if my let me think. Even if I'm on a bad day, I can still paint, nothing's stopping me. And I promise myself to video every time as well. We'll see what happens. It'll be interesting to see because I'm on an off day. Well, I say off day, it could be bloody weeks, you never know with this. I thought I'd just paint just to see what my style would be like on video. Because when I've hit a slump, my paintings tend to go very childlike and frustrated. We'll see what happens. So I'm just going to start creating um, my horizon as usual. I'm using a bit of Payne's grey and some sap green with carmine red mixed into it. It's a funny thing about mental health. It affects everything you do. And it certainly affects your creative output. You know, if you paint, it affects your paintings. It affects music. It affects your poetry. Affects your photography, affects your sculpture, just about everything. And all you got to do is look back on history, and just about every artist battled mental health, same as they do today. I mean, all you got to do is look at Edward Munch and his when he painted the Scream, and there's artists like Francis Bacon, who I mentioned just a couple of episodes ago. Martin Ramirez, Mexican, he ended up being locked up. He spent 30 years in a psychiatric hospital. He still painted. There's the famous poet William Blake. He had terrible nightmares and things. He used to paint his nightmares. Um, of course, there's Louis Wayne. He was very poorly. They called him the artist who drew cats, and he was an illustrator. He used to draw cats in children's books. He used to do it for a living. But he had depression and anxiety. And he might have been autistic as well, I think I read while I was studying. And he had violent tendencies. Even though he drew, pretty cats and things like that, it was very, very poorly. And he ended up, I believe, in a psychiatric hospital. And of course, most famous of them all is Vincent van Gogh. It depends where you live and how you pronounce his name. If you live in Britain, it's Van Gogh. If you live in America, it's Van Gogh. I tend to call him Van Gogh. And if you're Dutch, it's the pronunciation. It's kind of Hoch, like that, Vincent van Gogh. And if you're Dutch, I apologise, but I just can't bloody pronounce it. Yeah, people tend to call him Van Gogh or Van Gogh. and he was, of course, was very poorly. There was an interesting artist I came across while I was studying. Um, Let me think of a name off the top of my head. Called Kim Noble. She's an English painter, and she's got sort of like multi-personality disorder of some kind, and I think she's about 12 different people, and her art is just incredible. She adopts 12 personas. Some are men, some are children, and she paints a completely different style for each persona. Her work is just exceptional. I've never seen anything quite like it. The differences in style. So there's, yeah, any artist, you look at them and you do find out a lot. Someone said when I was studying, I was trying to answer the question, something along, oh, I can't, something along the lines of um, how art affects your creative output, and does art cause mental illness, or are just some artists mentally ill? And someone said to me, I think all artists are mentally ill somewhere. All artists are poorly. That's why they do what they do. But anyway, enough about that, enough about doom and gloom. And, when I was younger, I mentioned last episode some stuff we used to get up to, and I think the episode before that about getting into trouble. But I joined cadets when I was about, that was my wife just then, waving in the background. I think she forgot I was filming. So, yeah, I joined cadets. It was about 14 or 15, something like that, and used to get some of that bloody stuff. Really funny times. Yeah, there was this one occasion. Um, yeah, it was a protest training camp near Ollerton in Nottinghamshire, and we were there at Proteus, and I remember it like yesterday. It's bloody funny. Um, I'd been to the cookhouse and had my lunch, and I was just heading back to the barracks. And I don't know if you've ever seen military camps and things, but this was like built in the 1940s or 50s. And if you've ever watched Bad Lads Army, it's just like that. Same barrack blocks and everything. Between each barrack block, you've got an 8 foot gap, and then there's another barrack block and another one and another one. They all look identical. And so I went to my locker, putting my mess tin back, and I was going to go out on fieldcraft in the evening, so I was getting my stuff ready. And there was an almighty bang, it shut the whole bloody barracks. And I thought, well, flaming out. I thought, yeah, first thought it was bloody IRA, because at that point, mid 90s, they started mortaring stuff. They were firing mortars out the back of vans in the early and mid 90s, I think. So I thought it was the bloody IRA. And then one of my mates legged it into the billet, laughing his head off. He said, hey, come and see this. And I went next door to the next billet, and there are these 1970s, 1960s heaters, these bloody gas heaters, with an isolation tap on the outside. And there was somebody else there already. There was a few of us. I'm still in touch with them all, these people. But I'm not going to mention any names. But there was a lad outside. He was cranking the gas isolation tap. All these gas heaters, and each barrack had a gas isolator outside this handle, cranking that like mad, about 30 times. And then he put his thumb up and then ran. And then the second he put his thumb up, I'm not going to say his name, nearly did then. The lad stood next to me, pressed the the clicker on the gas heater, and there was an almighty bang and a fireball outside because the built up gas just ignites and cause a massive fireball, and you could feel the pressure wave, you could just feel the report of this bang. It just shut the whole room and the windows, and I thought it was bloody brilliant. So we were doing this all day, bang, all afternoon, setting off these bloody gas heaters. We called it backdrafting the heaters. And yeah, if you've ever been in the military or cadets or whatever, you'll know what I mean, because I think everyone's done it. And anyway, it was my turn. I went out there cranking this bloody handle, and my mate was inside just with his finger on the button ready, and I was cranking the handle at 30 times. And I put my thumb up, and just as I put my thumb up, the bloody regimental sergeant major walked round corner um, between these two barrack blocks, and he yelled at me, "Stand still!" And he had his pay stick on him and his peak cap and everything. So I just froze, and he marched towards me with his pay stick. And I'd put my thumb up and I'd legged it, and he stood me still. And just as walking past where I was cranking the handle, bang, almighty bang, and a fireball, because the lad inside had pressed the bloody button. And his pace stick just spiraled into the air and just knocked him on his arse. He knocked him flying. So I just bolted and ran. That was it. I wasn't hanging about. And I never got caught, never did. But there was it was about, I'd say a dozen cadets were confined to camp, and we all fell on the parade square. Got complete and utter bollocked off the RSM. Everybody did. So anyway, the 12 who were confined to camp stayed on camp, and we went off out on patrol on night exercise. And it were dusk, getting dark, and we all had L98 cadet GPs, the sort of tamer version of the SA8 that the army use. And we were patrolling around the outer perimeter of this great big bloody camp at Proteus. And there was a little ripple of gunfire in the distance. Another company, another bunch of cadets had been ambushed away. You could hear a little bit of gunfire. And then every now and again there was an almighty bang. And as we were patrolling past the perimeter fence, there was this huge bang from one of the billet blocks, and the cadets who'd been confined to camp were still backdrafting the bloody heaters. So all you could hear all night were bang, going off, and you could even see the sky light up. It was like bloody Baghdad. It was the funniest thing ever. Oh God, it was funny. Yeah, some good memories there. But yeah, yeah, word of advice, don't do it. It's bloody dangerous. It really is. But yeah, I'll never forget Aris. Sadly, he's no longer with us, but yeah, his pay stick flying through air. Great days. There's some good times. Yeah, you know. What is it now? About 14 minutes of banging on. And we've got a painting. It's not a particularly good painting, but it's a painting. Yeah, yeah, I don't like it. But I promised I'd film and paint regardless. It's completely different to what I've been doing of late. Yeah, we used to get some right stuff at cadets. Yeah, there were one time. I think it might have been. Oh God, it was a long time ago. Might have been Strensall, just outside York. There's an annual camp we did there. Somewhere like that. It was somewhere with the barracks had great big thick heater pipes going through the barrack blocks. And in each 12-man room there was a huge pipe that ran the length of the roof, the ceiling, if you like, and it was quite high up, this pipe, and it, carried the hot water and stuff like that. And in the barrack block, there was this lad who bloody snored the old time, and he was doing our flipping head in. And so we'd had enough. He was in bed snoring, and we were all awake, of course, couldn't bloody sleep. So we thought, right, sod this. So we got a load of something called paracord, and you get paracord from army surplus shops and things. It's just basically green string. But if you double over that, even quadruple over the string, you can actually pull a van with the stuff. It's that bloody strong. So we moved his bed into the middle of this big room. It's like Full Metal Jacket. Have you ever watched the beginning of that? It's a big bloody room, a high ceiling. We dragged his bed into the middle of the room and got all this paracord, tied it all to the bed and chucked the end of this paracord over the heater pipe. And then, the 11 of us who were awake, we just hoisted his bed up about 10 foot into air. And we started spinning the bed round. If you spin something one way, tighten it up, let go, it spins the opposite direction. So we were up there spinning his bed, and he was snoring as we were going round, and he was still asleep. I think he'd had a skinful anyway, so he was bloody fast asleep. So we got bored in the end, left him swinging up there, 10 foot up, and perhaps even higher than that. And we all went to bed, and 6:30 in the morning, 12 alarm clocks went off. And this lad, he sat on his bed, went, oh, stretched his arms and fell the bloody 10 foot from the ceiling. Oh, it was funny. He was bloody crippled on the floor. I can't remember his name. I can't. Bloody. Yeah. Funny. Could have cracked his bloody head open. Yeah, yeah, I don't like this painting. It's just a horrific muddy mess, but yeah, it'll do me. As I say, it's still a painting. It's still something. It's better than sitting about moping around. Yeah, it's not a lot I can say about it. I suppose that hill there I'm just doing now on the right kind of looks like Loose Hill in Derbyshire, just down Hope Valley. Perhaps Wyn Hill. Yeah, Loose Hill. It's pronounced Loose Hill in the Peak District, by locals. It's actually Lose Hill. Yeah, Wyn and Lose Hill. There's a bit of a legend behind it that, oh, I don't know, about 500 AD, 600 AD. There's a big battle there between Mercian army and Northumbrian armies, all Saxon chieftains. And one army formed up on Loose Hill. I don't know what it was called back then, nobody knows, but or Lose Hill, and one army formed up on Wyn Hill. And that's where the names come from. The losing side on Lose Hill, winning side on Wyn Hill. And there's a legend that on the anniversary of the battle each year, the water runs red with blood. But it's actually it's the peat that causes it to turn red. So yeah, That's the local legend down Hope Valley. If you live down Hope Valley, you'll know the legend. There's no evidence whatsoever for the battle. None at all. It's just oral history. I think that was my wife then, just flushing the toilet. So I do beg your pardon if you pick that up on the mic. I'll keep it in. It's all part of the fun. Yeah, I don't like this painting at all, but I'll let you decide. I'll let you be the judge. And by the way, feel free to leave comments. I don't mind, you know, I really enjoy feedback and criticism, you know, I don't mind at all. Anyway, it helped me improve. When I was studying my degree in photography, very good friend of mine, Paul Joinson, he said in front of everybody, he said, you know, John, I don't get all of your work, and it takes a really good friend to say that to your face. Very good friend. I always valued his feedback, and one of the lecturers said, well, that's the whole point, you don't have to get it. And yeah, this painting's bloody horrible, it's childlike, it's nasty, it's dark, oh, I hate it, but that's the whole point. You don't have to get it, you don't have to be able to paint, just do it. Yeah, it's a painting. You know, if I just sat being miserable, I won't have a painting to show for it, regardless of how bad it looks, how childlike. But yeah, that's the whole point. And I think we're almost there. There's nothing else I can do with it. There really isn't. So thank you so much for watching. It'll be interesting to see what my work's like tomorrow and the day after. But thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.